Welcome back, Stassa23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and today I have for you the Buck Knives Onset. The Onset costs $180 at pretty much every retailer I checked at. Smoky Mountain Knife Works and one other company had them for $159 for just a second, and now they're all at $180. Let's get some specs out of the way so you can have an idea of how big or small this knife actually is. You have a total length of 8.25 inches, so it's in that medium to large range. You have a blade length of 3.2 inches. You have a grip area from here to here of 3.5 inches. You have a pretty skinny handle at 0.45 inches and a closed width in the pocket from here to here of 1.35 inches and a blade stock thickness of 0.11 inches. Your behind the edge thickness on my particular knife is around 34 thousandths, sharpened at 15 degrees per side. Before we go any further with the Onset, let's do some cutting with it and see how well it performs. All right, we're gonna test the edge. This is the factory edge. Sharp. All right, it's sliced fairly well. Usually don't have any problems unless you have a dull knife or go into some thicker, like double wall cardboard or something. Still screaming sharp. All right, we're gonna test to see how well the edge is still biting and test the ergos on this Pine 2x4. Alrighty, it was fairly comfortable. Where it scoops up right here was bothering me when I wasn't holding it in the saber grip. When a hammer grip, that little point right there was bothering me. Not terrible. Let's see if that did anything to this edge. Hold on, there's something on it. All right, yeah, it's so good. All right, we got some half-inch twisted sisal rope. We're gonna try to make as many cuts as we can. Alrighty, we did 30 cuts, and we did pretty well. It was so-so in the comfort department, but right there in the front, let's see, still sharp. Alright, we're gonna cut up several different types of material, some thick saddle leather, some rubber gasket material, some 3/8 bungee, 1-inch vinyl tubing, dents, and some rubber tubing, both of them with some mesh in it. Get started with the leather first. All right, it did fairly well. Only thing that it kind of struggled on was this, because it's thick behind the edge and this starts to collapse, caving it in on the side walls. So let's see how that edge is still holding up. Still good. All right, we're gonna try to cut 3 different zip ties. We got 25 pounders and 150 pound zip tie. and do some light spine whacking. No play, any direction. Lockup is still the same. I should have showed you all that before. And still centered. Good action. No play. All right, we're gonna try to cut through these 3 copper wires using a rubber mallet. Don't do this. This will probably void your warranty. Doing it so you don't have to. One shot. Very nice. Doesn't look like there's any damage. Didn't expect it. Still scream sharp. All right, we got some aluminum bar stock. I'm gonna do some edge impact testing. I'm gonna strike it 3 times and see how it does. I gave some good whacks. Go 1, 2, and I guess the 3rd one went outside there, maybe. I don't know. Ooh. Let's see. Still feels good. Yep, does have a little hang up. Yep, not bad. Maybe not. No, just good. Good to go. All right, I hadn't done this one in a while. We're gonna shave some copper. Yep, it's biting in there good. All right, let's see. Got a little bit of rolling, or I don't know. It might just be copper deposits on there. Let's see. I don't feel anything. Might have blended it a little bit. Yep, a little bit. Try that one more time. Huh. All right, well, regardless, I call that a win. All right, we're gonna do some light stabbing. There's a lockup, about 80%. That's what it was when it started. And I got some Kevlar gloves on, so just in case. Alrighty, still perfectly fine. Alrighty, I hope y'all enjoyed that cutting footage, and let's take a closer look at this knife. The overall aesthetic kind of caught my eye. It's very simple, but I like that sometimes. You have this classic drop point blade with a satin belt finish on it. And I like the fact that they kept the primary bevel sterile. You had a full flat grind on the primary bevel, and they kept all the billboarding on the flats right here. As you can see, this is Paul Boss heat-treated S45vn. Paul Boss is known for doing a really good job on his heat treats. And I was told at the factory that whenever they Rockwell these, they were Rockwelling at 61, but they're shooting for, I think, 59 to 61, mainly 61, they say. On this side, you got the Buck USA logo there, and a 40 with, I'm sure that's to denote when this is made. You do have somewhat of a sharpening choil, but it does not clear the plunge grind. As you can see, you do have somewhat of a smile forming in the back right here. You do have a row of jimping right here, but if you look at it closely, it has been rounded over, so I'd call it mild traction at best. You do have a pretty stout tip right there, so you can do some light prying with this knife. Close it up. As you can see, this is a flipper knife, no thumb stud deployer. The detent on this knife is rather crisp. I'll try to show the inside of the knife right here. I did some video because I want to show y'all how they did the detent. And I don't know if it's just in my knife, but it's just odd. I've never seen, it's not an actual circle hole as a detent hole. And like I said, hopefully I remember to put it right there. But I will say the action is very snappy. I mean, it comes flying out. It's on stainless bearings with a stainless detent, which I'm okay with as long as the action's good, and it is. I mean, I don't think, let's see, I'm going to try to feel it. I mean, literally, I'm trying to, let's see. Okay, that, I can feel any knife when I do that. I was just pulling down on it. But let's see, a normal flip. Yeah, it's got a good bit of tension on the lock that's allowing you to build up some force right there. So when you break it, it comes out with authority in the light switch. And you could do push button, but it's much more comfortable to do the light switch the way the flipper tab is set up, which has also been skeletonized, as you can see. On your show side, you have Peel Ply G10 that offers a decent bit of grip. And I like that. You can see it's kind of catching all kinds of material. Your pivot is a Torx T10. Your body screws are Torx T6. I wish I would have kept it all the same. That would have been nice. You have a flow-through construction, 2 barrel standoffs right here. So if you want to blow out the knife, you can. I tried to keep the weight down. As you can see, they did some heavy pocketing in there. Speaking of weight, this is a stainless steel frame lock, which will be a deal breaker for a lot of people. 4.56 ounces. And I'll tell you right now, even though, you know, it would have been lighter with aluminum or titanium, it carried just fine. Let's see what it looks like in the pocket. And I do like this style clip compared to a few other bucks I bought recently. It's on these 2 standoffs, and you can actually lift it up. Goes in the pocket very nicely, and not much sticking out, as you can see. And you can grab onto those two screws to pull it out the pocket. Stayed in the pocket nicely. It rides nicely. You will have a quote-unquote pocket pecker right here sticking in your pocket. But I didn't notice it, you know, and I usually carry my knife in one pocket, and that's it in that pocket. Blade to handle ratio, not the best. As you can see, you could completely cut that back standoff. You could cut this. It's just the design. That's what's causing it to flare out more. The ergos were pretty darn good. Anytime, like I always say, with this slanted down handle, it just feels the hand nicely. If you have extra large hands, it might be a little small for you. I mean, as you can see, I have medium-sized hands, and I'm right there at the end. But if you have large hands, you probably just put your pinky on that end and be just fine. In every grip, it was comfortable. Saber grip, hammer grip, really comfortable. This grip as well was comfortable. You can do the reverse grip, even though I don't ever do the reverse grip. I don't have any use. But the way this slants down, you're going to have to kind of like grab the butt into that. It's probably not going to be the most comfortable. But you do have a guard from the flipper tab. Only thing I would say is with extended cutting, you may start to get some fatigue with the flat scales and how thin they are in this dimension. That's something I've noticed, doing some extended cutting. Let's see. Like I said, stainless steel frame lock. This is not a Torx head like this is, that T10. This is just a threaded barrel, as you can see, and that is the pivot. So you just screw into that threaded barrel. It's tip up, right hand carry only. No lanyard hole for the lanyard people unless you want to tie it to this back standoff or maybe to the standoff in the clip. You do have a lock bar stabilizer over travel right here, like a Hinder style. Not sure if they gave credit to Hinder or not. I don't see any number on there. I don't know if it's the same thing. Overall, it performed nice. The S45 performed well. It wasn't the best slicer in the world. That would, be because of how thick it is behind the edge. But at least it is sharpened at 15 degrees per side, leaving that honker of a bevel right there. Let's do some quick comparisons, and then I'll kind of wrap it up. Now, when we do these size comparisons, we're gonna go into my nitpicks. And first is the price. $180 is kind of steep for a steel frame lock. And the reason I say that is because if I had to recommend a knife at that price point, American made at least, I got a few that I would recommend either the large RSK 20CV G10 with like an axis style lock. I would say this could handle everything this can handle and maybe outcut it. This is 180 bucks, same exact price. And another good one would be the Benchmade 940, not this particular one, but the S30V Black G10 version is, I think it's like 190 or so. It's very comparable to this knife. And two more American-made knives comparable that I would probably recommend before this would be the M4 Benchmade Freak. Mine has a regrind on it. Don't pay attention to that. These two are very, very, very similar aesthetically, and the overall length is pretty much the same. You get the M4 Freak for 196 bucks. So I would save the extra $16 and get the M4 Freak. That's just me, if you like the axis lock. And one more is the Spyderco PM2. It's a little bit longer of a knife, but you get a little bit more cutting edge on the buck. This is actually an S45vn, just like this one. And when I bought this one brand new, S45 with G10 and a compression lock, I paid 157 bucks. So in my eyes, this one, being that it's G10 and steel on the other side, I think 140 bucks, 150 at max would have been the right price for this one and might have been more popular to some people. Other nitpicks, first, it's thick behind the edge. There's no way around it. 34 thousandths is thick. Now, it is sharpened to 15 degrees per side. That's why it was cutting nicely. It was very sharp out of box. But I mean, look how large this bevel is. That is a large and in charge. This side's even larger. This side's 15. No, this side is 13 degrees on my goniometer. This side is 15 degrees. Another thing that kind of bugs me is the flipper tab. It is a little pointy. It starts going back in that direction. There's no jimping, which is not really needed, but it has a lot of lock bar pressure. That's what causes it to be able to fly out like that. And that leads to my next nitpick. It has a lot of lock bar tension. It can be a little uncomfortable in the beginning. I've kind of broken it in a little bit. So just use the fat of your thumb like that to catch it and slide it over. Next nitpick while we're on the lock bar is this lock bar cutout is, I mean, look at that. I could fit another blade through there. I mean, that is a large inch. I don't even have another frame I can show y'all, but yeah, here's one, for example. This is the Wee Falcon. Look at the difference. Look at that. That is a wide cutout. Another small nitpick is you have nice flush screws here, but your pivot sits proud of the show side and the lock side scale. It'd been nice to keep it all flush, not hurting anything, and also blade to handle ratio, I would like to see that blade come out a little bit further because they could have, because it would have kept it underneath the scale. And let's see, the tension, lock tension, kind of strong, cutout's huge. Stainless steel frame lock is another, gripe. And one more last thing is the pocket clip is sitting on that frame lock. Let's see if I can show y'all this. Yeah, you can see how it's not even touching this side. It's just sitting on this frame lock. I hope y'all can see that. Yeah, there you go. I don't understand that. I've tried to loosen it up and push it this way. It still hits that, which is going to cause even more pressure, downward pressure, when you're trying to flip this thing. So overall, I like the fact that they came out with something, that I was interested enough to want to buy. But yeah, they still have a lot of good ways to go to kind of catch up with the market, in my opinion. They've got this far by, people that just know the Buck name as a household name, and I understand that, and I want to root for my U.S. companies, so glad to see them doing something a little bit different. I like their premium version of this, but it was just outrageously expensive. I just think they need to be more competitive with the prices, and keep doing stuff like this, just making them maybe a little thinner behind that edge. I would have probably been happy. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.